Greetings, every pony. This is the Nova Narrator, coming to you with another story. This one's a Clopfic I wrote, called Your Sweet Melody. It's an Octavia Ex human story, so I'm not gonna ramble too much. In fact, I'm going to get right to the story. So here we go. Your Sweet Melody by TNN, the Nova Narrator. That's what it's short for. I keep forgetting to say that. Okay, let's go. Walking through the quiet streets of Ponyville, you start to flash back to the time you came to this magical land of talking pastel ponies. You can remember every second of it like a dream. See, you just fell asleep one night and woke up in the middle of the forest here. Don't even know how the heck you ended up there. You thought you crossed over overnight, but you never really knew how it happened. But as you walk through the streets of this quiet town, you begin to realize it's pretty magical. And the fact that it has two princesses in charge of the celestial bodies just makes it all the more magical. A lot more magical than Earth, your previous residence. But ever since you moved here, you have made quite a life for yourself. You got a good paying job with a nice calm stallion boss. And the wages weren't that bad, and neither was the rent of your small house in the small town. Yeah, life was beginning to look sweet. But more and more days pass, you begin to wonder about love life and what you could have and other stuff like that. On some nights, it's been keeping you awake. But it didn't really keep you awake for long, because eventually fatigue will get you. And then there's that one fateful day you saw her. A gray mare with a pretty black mane and purple eyes. It happened when you were walking with your best friend Rainbow Dash. So you just lean over to Rainbow and say, "Hey Rainbow, who's that?" Oh, then she says, "Oh, that's just Octavia. She lives with vinyl scratch hair." See, and then you look back at her and say, "Octavia, huh?" Eyeing the mare from across wherever the heck you're standing, a Rainbow tends to get ahead of you. You're not even paying her any mind anymore as you start to approach the gray black maned mare. As she catches you eyeing her and gives you a wink, you just giggle slightly and decide to walk over to her, thinking, what the hey could happen? I mean, she's still a female. You think to yourself, so what's the worst that can happen? As you walk over and introduce yourself, she was quite a calm and collective mare too. Even had a nice accent to boot. But that just made her even more interesting. As your conversation led past names and into more oppressing matters, like days and where you been and blah blah blah, how's it going, until it gets into the good stuff. And you start discussing love life, and Octavia admits she don't have much of one. And you just nod and tell her same here. And then she says, I got something to confess. You just look at her, cocking one eyebrow, thinking, oh Lord, where's this going? As she admits she kind of has a thing for you. 'Cause she's never really experienced it with a human. But really, she was beginning to think that it might be a optimistic idea. Is that how you would put it? As you decide to give it a shot. Just then, Octavia starts leaning on you, purring like some kind of seductive cat. You just smile and blush slightly, realizing she's red as well. Got a little tongue-tied there. Let's see. Where am I? Oh, here it is. Yeah, here it is. Blushing slightly, you can actually tell she's doing the same. As she starts running her hooves along your shoulders, you start to get sensations rolling down your spine that you can't really explain. As you start thinking for yourself, is this actually happening? Am I actually going to finally have someone after all the time of being alone? Just then, Octavia looks up into your eyes with a very seductive-like look and just says, "Follow me." That look of hers just sends a shiver down your spine as you feel your member twitch a little as you see her walking towards a house. And while she does so, you can't help but to just get a nice eyeful of her flank. Catching you staring, she flicks her tail slightly to encourage you to follow her. So, you don't leave her waiting. Because what's the use of leaving a lady waiting? As you follow her, catching up along beside her, as she leads you to a small, what would you call it, house, hut, cottage, right in the middle of Ponyville. As Final Scratch is sitting in the living room, messing with some of her records, saying, "Darn it, where the hell did I put it?" You just smile a sheepish grin at her as she waves at you. You knew the DJ quite well. You and her like to have contests every now and then to see who can outbass each other. You will admit, even though you've beaten her a couple times, she's still pretty good. 'Cause she still wins most of them. It's just, you only get her on occasions, when your system's actually working right. She just looks at you, giving you a wink, and smiles an awkward smile when she sees you with Octavia. As Octavia grabs your hand with her tail, starting to drag you up the stairs. And then you see, you give a slight grunt at the feeling of her tail on your hand, realizing how soft it is, and the fact that she can use it like an arm. As the mare's dragging you up the stairs, you think about asking her what she's planning, but you rather find out for yourself. I mean, why not? It'll just spoil the fun anyway if you ask her. As you get up the stairs with Octavia, she leads you to a door. Then she opens the door and motions for you to go inside. You just comply with the mare's wishes by walking in and sitting on the bed. As she walks in behind you and shuts the door and locks it, you hear the lock snap shut, thinking, "Oh Lord, what's gonna happen?" As she turns back at you, giving you quite a dirty look that would also count as devious. Seeing her face like that made your member twitch and stand up slightly. as she starts in a full gallop straight towards the bed, tackling you to the bedpost in a passionate kiss, gasping over the surprise of how quick she was to act. You just sigh and accept the kiss with passion. As Octavia presses her tongue against your lips, trying to get you to grant her access. You just open your mouth slightly, giving the mare what she wants. As she sighs contently, pressing further into the kiss as your tongues meet for the first time in a passionate dance of bliss. So yeah, that's how it's gonna go down. See, moments pass as she's grinding against your pants, making you harder than steel. Yeah, which one make you the man of steel? Yeah, let's go with that. The man of steel. Yeah, kinda knew I was gonna go with a Superman joke when I said steel. So, yeah, let's just go with that. Let me get back to it before I lose my place. Okay? God, I cracked myself up. Phew. Shit, where am I? Oh yeah, now I remember. As she starts to remove your shirt, popping the last button. As you unbuckle your belt with a clinking noise, tossing it across the room as she pulls your pants down after you unbutton and zip them, leaving you in nothing but your underwear as she's still on top of you in a passionate kiss. You realize she's breathing through her nose, panting slightly into the kiss. It's kind of cute as you pull a hand up and caress the back of her left ear, which causes her to sigh and moan slightly into the kiss. As you get your underwear down, and your rod stands up, smacking into between her legs, causing her to gasp in shock when she feels it hit her sensitive spot. As Octavia moans slightly and starts grinding back into it, as you feel the mare's wetness start to wrap around your shaft, as it pours out of her slit and pools onto your chest, showing you just how into it she really is, as she breaks the kiss, leaving nothing but a thin strand of saliva connecting you two. She looks into your eyes seductively and asks you, "Can you quit teasing and put it in?" You just accept the mare's wishes as you contently do what she wants, pressing your tip into her, causing her to moan slightly and give a slight gasp as you finally push into her. Not getting that very far with the first thrust, you pull back out of her wet depths to slam back in even further as Octavia feels your balls slap against her flank in the lower half of her slit, causing her to gasp as you fill her up all the way as she says, so full." God, now that was dirty. As she continues to make a soft symphony of moans and coos and cute noises, as you start moaning in content too, as it's starting to sound like a primal display that even the princesses could hear from Canterlot, if they'd so wished. Octavia starts grinding her hips along with your thrusts, making that pleasure more interesting for her as waves of ecstasy shoot down her back as it sends shivers up yours. As you start screaming out to her, "I love you so much, Octavia," as she starts moaning out your name as you ravage her insides, pressing your hands against her back to get her closer into your embrace as you pound her with everything you got, which causes her to moan out even louder. As she begins getting wetter, you realize that she's like a furnace. And just then Octavia screams out, "Ah, I'm close." And then you yell back to her, biting her ear, causing her to gasp and moan as she jerks around. As you whisper in, "So am I. Where do you want it?" As she gives a slight purr and a coo, saying, "Inside. Put it inside." As euphoria washes over you both, as you give a couple more good thrusts and explode your fluids deep inside the mare, which causes her to ride out her orgasm as well, as she coats every part of your belly and legs in her juices. As she's coming down from her afterglow, you see her panting with your rod still stiffening inside of her, as she leans down to give you a passionate kiss. As you hold her in your embrace, she says, "I love you so much." And you look back into her lovely eyes, caressing her cheek lovingly, saying, "I love you too, Octavia," as you both fall asleep in each other's embrace. And that was Your Sweet Melody by TNN. And if you liked it, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, so you can find out when my next story is going to be. And make sure to comment. I always look forward to good comments. Thank you, and have a nice day or night. Peace out.